which is probably a good thing, really.
Yeah, but it might well consolidate even, potentially as well, and maybe even come back a little bit. But definitely see it getting to 95. I don't see why it wouldn't.
No, well, I agree with that. Yeah, absolutely. I can't see why it wouldn't either.
Yeah.
Unless somebody puts a spanner in the works. And
Yeah. I mean, there's always that possibility. It certainly looks like that won't happen this week now. As far as I can see, it's most of the stuff has been discussed and talked about, and now we're on the final throes of it. And I just think now it's just the kind of last bits of reaction, but everything's just in a bit of a bit of trouble. See the Nasdaq as well is edging lower.
Yeah, we had a little conversation about that in the US session last night, and Big O was in Nasdaq long, and he wasn't going to take the S&P short, and he had a great setup. I said, "Why not?" And he said, "That's a good question," and he did. So,
and he took it, did he?
Yeah, he did. He's
good.
He's in the S&P short. We are live and free around the world on things like, what's that thing? YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, yesterday Graham, tomorrow Graham.
I don't think we are on Instagram. I don't know whether that's a thing. Is it? I don't know, mate. I don't know. Is that a thing? Instagram Live?
I've seen a thing.
Okay.
That's what that little camera thing means, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe if you're on Instagram, I guess so.
Well, I'm not on Instagram, but I think you and I are right now, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
We'll see anyway. Someone will tell us. I don't know. Yeah, I thought Instagram was just photos. But
that's what I thought, mate. And to be honest, that's that. I know about Twitter and Facebook and YouTube in a kind of vague, all-about way. But when it comes down to some of these other ones, I'm not really up on it at all. Which is because I'm a bit of a dinosaur with this. I mean, I don't even really like Facebook, if I'm honest. YouTube has its benefits, and I'm sure Facebook does too. But
well, the business tools, that's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Hey, Swee, how you doing? Do you know what it is? I find it quite intrusive and just a bit boring. Just seeing people like posting some of the stuff they post. I just find it really dull.
Actually, they're running ads here in Australia at the moment that take the P out of that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's quite funny, but quite true.
I suppose it's no different actually to some of the feeds that you get on your good morning SF. No different than the feeds that you just get on your day-to-day like Google page or Microsoft page. Some of the news stories just and obviously it's kind of like there's a celebrity. You must have heard of the Spice Girls.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, we need to get this pound trade on, don't we? Let's get the pound trade on, mate. We'll talk about the Spice Girls later.
Okay. They're not the 50s. They should be, but they're not. Righto, we've got a buy order above this bar here. I think we're pretty safe to put it on now. It is entering long at 1.2718, which is there. That's good. The stop loss is 1.2699. TP1 is 1.27. Oh, hang on. Before I should tell you how to work that out, right? 27.18 to 26.99 is 19 pips. And what we do there is take half of that difference, which will be 9.5. We'll round that down to 9, and 9 pips will be our TP1. So that makes our TP1 1.2718 plus 9, which is 1.2727. So that will be your TP1. TP2 will be double the risk. Again, 19 times 2 is 38, plus 18 is 56. So TP2 will be 1.27. What did I say? 56.
Something like that.
I can't remember. What was the risk? The risk was 1938. Yeah, 56. That'll do. Righto, so that's the buy order. The sell order is short at 1.2690. I'll just move that so you can actually see it. Maybe I have to move it over here. Come on. So 1.2690 and 1.2725 is the stop loss. That is 35 pips. So we want half of that, which is 17. We'll go 17 under there, which is 1.2673. That will be your TP1. 1.2673. And your TP2 will be double the risk, which is 35 times 2, which is 70. Taken away from there is 1.2620. Okay. That was a dud yesterday, I think, wasn't it, from memory? But we've had a couple of good ones recently, including, of course, the one that we're still in, which is from Monday, and that's still going pretty good. All right. Actually, I think if I'm honest, I'm probably looking for a bit of a retrace on this today. But yeah, I don't know. One leg, two legs, still a third leg to come maybe. Right, let's place the orders. The first one I suggest would be the sell, because we're closest to entry on that. Let me get rid of the EA. And it is a sell stop. The entry level is 1.2690. And the stop loss is 1.2725. Okay, we've got to put a little bit more on the board than that. And there we go. There we go. Hello. Oh, what happened? Yeah, Wally. 2690. Oh, I know what happened. I changed the volume. Right, the buy. The buy. We have got 1.2718. Stop loss 1.2699. And that will do. Sorted. Okay. There is the pound OCO breakout trade for today. Those of you who are joining us for the first time, welcome aboard, number one. Number two, we do this each and every day, and it is all about trading the breakout of the last 3 bars prior to London session on an hourly chart. And today that is that bar, and that bar. So the low of this bar is our entry for the short. The high of this bar is our entry for the long, and the stop loss for the long is the low of the bar rounded down to the nearest pip, and the stop loss for the short is the high of that bar rounded up to the nearest pip. We take profit at half of the risk in terms of pips, and we move we take 50% off the table at that point, so close half. And then we move our stops the equivalent amount of pips that we took at TP1 on the other side of entry, making it a free trade. That is the way we're handling it at the moment. Had a couple of good results this week, and we are still in this one from Monday, as I said. I guess, well, I don't guess. I'm thinking about tightening the stops, but maybe this needs a bit of space. I still think there's room for another leg down.
Yeah, I do too, mate. Do you know, it's I tell you what, actually, just talking of the pound, you know, as we're on it, what an absolute mess this country is. All this
Yeah, it's
government
not
is
getting any
kind of.
better, is it?
Oh, mate, you heard about JP Morgan now? So JP Morgan
No,
are
no.
moving.
What's this one?
Oh, yeah. So they're moving a few billion dollars out of the city of London into Frankfurt. So it seems like there might be the mass exodus that everybody initially talked about. Everybody talks
Yeah,
about a potential, people leaving, companies leaving the UK if there wasn't a Brexit deal. And they're getting concerned. They've got to get they've got to get their house in order. There's predictions that it might be just halfway home. There's not even all of the ones that are going to leave are really have actually kind of started the exodus just yet. So there's potentially more to go. So the pound, have this sort of like wonder if the pound is a reflection of the UK economy, which I suppose in many respects it is, better than good morning, Manuel, better than the stock market would be. Then that would suggest that there is some further problems really with the pound and with because of the UK economy potentially losing so much money, then the pound's in all sorts of trouble. And it's worked out, everything's come down, hasn't it? We've seen, obviously I'm in Bitcoin and we've seen that come down. We've seen the euro come down, the Swissy come down. Anything against the dollar, gold, silver, really interesting moves in those markets as well. But the pound's got this little side issue going on, and it couldn't be happening at a worse time, really. U.S. election, Brexit, within a few months away now, and obviously the pandemic. It really does make you kind of wonder how the pound can be above anything when it comes
yeah,
down
it
to
does, doesn't it?
yeah, any kind of strength. I'm just having a look at the euro pound as well now, and you'd have to kind of doubt any moves now to the downside. Currently with the state of the euro pound, I guess
I wouldn't
people
say that.
you quite like it for lower, do you?
Well, technically I do, but
Same.
I'd have to agree with you. From a fundamental perspective, it's really difficult to
Yeah,
think that. But
yeah.
the euro is not in great shape itself.
No, it's not. And I suppose this is the thing, isn't it? I mean, I agree with you. Technically, actually, it does look like the pound should be strengthened against the euro. But if that was to
How do you
happen,
picture it? Mm.
yeah, I mean, if that was to happen, then I'd be quite keen on trying to buy some euros versus the pound, because I just don't see how the pound, how the UK can shake off the negativity that just seems to be surrounding it. I think the government has handled things so badly. With the pandemic and Brexit, the kind of the tone that they've chosen to take on is incredibly inflammatory, and it just makes you kind of wonder how can they possibly get out of this now, because really what they should be doing is saying this is the wrong time. I would have thought, that's what I would have thought as a minister. I'd be thinking this is the wrong time to be dealing with two huge issues. Now, one of them we can't avoid. One of them we just we have to deal with, but the other one we could actually put on hold. Now, obviously, nobody wants that in the financial world and everything else. We don't want this uncertainty, but to lead us down the particular path that we are so aggressively, going in such an aggressive fashion during what we've got going on, just seems like suicide. And maybe the alternative is suicide as well. As I say it out loud, further delays would just make everybody feel really ill, and we don't need any more uncertainty. We could do with some clarity. But maybe some kind of middle ground, where they say, look, let's do the parts of the deal that we agree on, and everything else we'll continue to deal with, and leave things as they are until we do, because they just need to kind of edge things forward. But Boris Johnson wants this wrapped up by October the 15th, and from what I can see, that is putting this whole thing under huge amounts of pressure. JP Morgan might find out that their decision to leave the City of London was a poor one, if there's a decent deal done. But you think that somebody like JP Morgan would have done their homework and would have done the, right across the board. They would have done all the potential scenarios that would come out, and they've decided to leave. So I don't know what that suggests, but that may well speak louder than the European Union and the UK government and their all their toing and froing. Actually business is going now. So it's a huge issue, mate. With things going on right now. What a multitude of messes, and you just kind of have to say, is it a reflection on the two powers that are controlling the UK and the US, that we do seem to have this huge mess going on in these two regions right now? And I don't know. You've got to kind of like think that there might be something in it, that it might be something to do with that. And the sooner Boris Johnson goes out of power, I think the better. At this stage, that's certainly the way I'm feeling. Anyway,
how likely is that?
Well, do you know what? It's an interesting question, isn't it? I mean, the thing is with him is that he is a maverick, and just like Donald Trump, he almost could walk at any time. Or if things weren't going his way, he could walk at any time potentially, I suppose. Or things don't go his way, and there's a genuine vote of no confidence in the House of Commons. I mean, I suppose that things like that could happen. How likely is it to happen? Well, it's nowhere near 50-50, but there is a possibility because of the way things are going. So it's certainly not zero. If you had to put it in percentage terms, I'd say somewhere between 25 and 40% possibly that could happen. It won't
take
happen
profit
this year.
on the pound there, guys. TP1.
Well, that was quick.
Yep.
Goodness me, mate. You've got golden fingers at the minute, you have.
Not getting too many follow-throughs, I've got to say, but
still.
Yeah, getting a lot of entries, which is pretty good.
Yeah, it's really good, mate. Really good.
Well,
we are. Yep.
I just got to work out where I've got to move my stops to. What do we take? 27. It was 9, so 9 pips, right? 9 pips from entry, which will be 27.09. Okay, so another free trade on the pound.
Nice work. Nice work. You are on a roll. Well, let's talk about some of these indices, mate, because
all right, mate, yeah, let's have a look.
Let me just do this one.
You still Bitcoin? You still going?
Yep, slim Bitcoin, and I've got fairly wide stops on that. I still think the dollar's got a little bit further to go. I mean, so whether it really reflects Bitcoin or not, I don't know. But let me show you my screen. The Bitcoin thing's a little bit different. I mean, I can show you that trade, but I don't think anybody's in that anyway. But let me bring up this chart here. Eventually I'll be able to trade Bitcoin on Fusion. I'm fairly close to that now, but let me take the screen. Now, the other thing that has been going well as well, mate, which again, I don't think anybody's in, is sugar. Have you seen what's happened to sugar?
Oh, honey. No, I haven't.
Oh, well, that's going great guns for me as well, I mean, this is the thing. Yes, it's been really good. So, in fact, I can show you Bitcoin, but you won't necessarily see the trade levels because I'll use TradingView just to illustrate what I'm looking for.
My goodness, I hope all you people in the room are actually taking advantage of all these trades. You must be going okay.
Yeah, well, yeah, I know I'm having a bit of a purple patch at the minute, mate, and this is the thing, but so are you, by the sounds of it.
We are.
We are. Yeah, we are. We're having a bit of a purple patch at the minute. I mean, got to appreciate it while it's here. Let's not get too excited and say it's going to last forever.
Look, I've missed a couple as well. Euro, yen, and Aussie Swissy. I was in them and got out. Oh, painful.
Yeah. Things like that are painful.
Aussie Swissy in particular.
I got out of the euro a bit too early as well, mate. So it does. Even the purple patch, quite nice that even the purple patch is allowing a few to slip through the net. So Bitcoin.
It was a good racehorse here in Australia too.
Who was that?
Purple Patch.
Purple Patch.
Yeah, that was one of the fast ones I used to back Weren't too
Well, I'll
many
tell
of
you
them.
what, he wants to be. He wants to be a good racehorse with a name like that. So we can see sort of like, you know, that the entries were in this this area up here on that right shoulder. So there's the left shoulder, head, and the right shoulder there. So more entries there were coming in, and now we've started to drop again down to this area. I've actually got stops still pretty high here, mate. Where have I got them? 55, 60. Yeah, I've got stops up at this area here. At this stage, because I just want to see whether there is a chance that we do actually retrace just a little bit to, you know, possibly. Actually, I've just tucked him down. So at the minute I'm just trading this. Can I move that? No. I'm just. Oh, I can. I'm just trading this this trend line at this moment in time. I think there's quite a bit to get through before we get up there, and you know, it could mean giving up a couple hundred pips. I have taken some profit though. You know, that wasn't my my initial intention, but it was such a swift move that the profit taking, you know, was looking like a wise choice. But it hasn't got quite to where I'd want it to get to just yet. Now there's a CME gap down here that I'm informed by Shukri is the CME gap is somewhere at I think 9,620 or something like that. So somewhere between 9,620 and 9,820 would be where I'd quite like to close the trade off and see what happens from there. And potentially, you know, I do want to switch positions on this. You know, I'm not actually a Bitcoin bear by any stretch of the imagination. It was just you know, as everybody knows, I was just playing the move in the dollar in it, and I've done some research on Bitcoin, so this is the one that looked like a decent opportunity to me. Dollar, to my mind, has probably got just a little bit further to go as well, so I'm looking for around about the 95 level. Do you know, mate, that the more you said 95 to me, and I think mine was a bit higher than that, but the more I looked at it in further detail, and I think you might be right. So I'll show you, and this is another reason. You know, that would put me out of Bitcoin as well. Now, what was it? Was it somewhere around here? It might be on the weekly chart actually.
I don't know. I couldn't find it on that chart.
Yeah, do you know, I wonder whether Trading View is the best one to look it on because I've got it on something else. Was it that low?
I don't know why we haven't got it. I think Paul was going to request that we get it on MT4.
Oh yeah, we should have
on
it.
Fusion.
We should have it. Yeah, we should have it because the charts do look slightly different. You know, between Fusion and
definitely.
And my Axie that. Yeah, sorry, between Trading View and the other, it looks slightly different. Like I don't have these highs up here, which give me a trend line on Axie Trader. Actually, the trend line is a lot steeper, and it's beyond that point now. But if I look on Axie, then it's around about it is around about 95. So there is an area at 95. Unfortunately, I can't corroborate it with any evidence here, but it is there. So might be better to look on investing.com or something. But let's have a look at sugar. So sugar 911. Sorry, the number 11 futures. If we look at the October contract, that seems to be the best. Then look what's happened, mate. I mean, this is you probably don't completely remember the conversation, but what I was looking at with sugar was this trend line here, and it had come through the trend line, and I thought maybe the opportunity actually was over.
Oh, that's right. We're talking about the false break. Perfect false break.
Yeah, it was a perfect false break, exactly. And it's better seen actually on the weekly because I had it a little bit tighter than that. And it's always a question, you know, whether you use closing prices or the spike. But I really like the closing prices. So it came through, and actually then if we switch back to the daily here, then we can start to see that you know, maybe sugar even comes back a little bit more. But we were talking about this on Monday, wasn't it? Because that's when I was in with you. And it is it's the 24th. So we've got the 23rd price action. Not sure we haven't opened up properly on this. So that would have been Wednesday, Tuesday, and this is Monday. So yeah, so this is where this is the bar that I took it on down here. And the reason I took it there is that we can see here my issue was, and it was a really nice entry in the end, a really nice clean entry. But my issue was that we had this horizontal level that we were through, and I wondered whether we might fail there. But when we popped up and came back there, that was the available opportunity there. So sugar is doing pretty well for us right now as well. So I'm not sure if anybody's in that, but last time I was looking at it, it was up around about 3%. And you can see it's up 2.5% right now. So maybe it comes back and gives everybody another opportunity. I don't know, but you can look at this on the 4 hour just to kind of like see what the opportunity was. And I don't even know whether everybody's, but look at that, really, really nice. It's so clean.
Yep.
Through the trend line, sorry, through the horizon. So firstly, I couldn't trade it down here, and it looked like it was resisting. Then we get the pop to the upside. Then it comes back, gives us this bar as well, which you know, I didn't trade that bar. I was just trading the price, but the bar was just so clean off the horizontal level, and then off it's gone. So sugar's been a really good one, mate. And this is the thing, you know, we were prepared for this. How long ago was it that you were singing Sugar?
It's a couple of weeks ago, isn't it?
That was 2 weeks ago, yeah, because you weren't in last week. So it was two weeks ago, waiting on this. And it's just to really illustrate, you know, the benefit of patience, you know, because I did say at the time, sugar looks good. It looks like a really good potential opportunity, but it doesn't mean the timing is right. And it's no different really than Bitcoin and Ethereum and all those, gold and everything else. So I'd like to pick up, you know, the majority of those commodities. And as they're coming down, what we're looking for is a turning point here. You know, we don't want it to go through the trend line necessarily, but it doesn't necessarily mean because it does, the opportunity's gone, but we'd have to wait for it to get back through, nestle in, and then give us an opportunity to go long. So the story with the dollar is that it's pushing to the upside, but I think, you know, we're all of the mind that that the dollar is going to find it tough really to strengthen significantly. With its current, you know, with Jerome Powell's current stance and you know the monetary policy that's going on right now. So the dollar will weaken again, and it's just a question of where it gets picked up, you know, to the downside. But this is the sort of thing that we are looking for. We're looking for that consolidation, and as soon as that consolidation happens with the dollar, then we can start to see whether there's another turnaround. And you know, just to kind of illustrate it into the upside, because obviously we were prepared for this dollar for many weeks as well. We were looking at this dollar and saying, you know, the dollar's going to be pushing higher, so it's just about getting into the right positions. And it took a little while for that inverted head and shoulders to work out, but it was almost perfect, mate. When it came down to the amount of bars that it took to take out the neckline, I think it was within one of complete equal balance between the left shoulder and right shoulder. It was really good. So we do see the dollar pushing to the upside, and we're just now
do that all the time. Is the dollar index that technically sound? If it is,
well, the question
it on the charts.
Do you know, mate, that you can answer that yourself, because actually, you know, as you know, the dollar is the euro is a really good proxy for this. So is the euro dollar really good for technicals?
It's a yes.
Yeah, so in that case, yes. I mean, that's the you know, it does look pretty good. And just onto the euro pound as well. Same deal in many respects. You know, we got right now is this consolidation kind of going on, and I'm with you completely. Technically speaking, this is a short, isn't it? I mean, we're through a little trend line here.
From my mind, it is, yeah.
And it looks like we are failing down there. We got the
well, I've got an order on right now, actually.
Oh, have you?
I don't. You guys probably would have seen that. I'll give you the level shortly.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, let's have a look at that. So let's have a look at the indices. That's what we wanted to talk about. So you said that Orlando was long NASDAQ.
Okay. He did well out of it.
He did well. Yeah, I kind of get that, actually. I do kind of get that, because yesterday he was probably in on this bar or something like that. He would have been looking at, I would suspect. So I do get that. I think the NASDAQ is another one of those, no different to gold, silver, and you know, Ethereum and all those kind of characters. I think that the Nasdaq is going to go higher. You know, it's just a matter of when, and it does. Do we need to wait for the US election? 40 days away, I think it is now, mate. So just over a month.
Where are we? 24th. It'll be the 4th. It'll be the 1st this time next week. So 1 month and 2 days away from the air. Not too far.
Yeah, so we're edging closer and closer. Does the Nasdaq need to kind of like get that past before it starts to turn? Possibly, but if we think about you know, that dollar, what do we need to see with that dollar? We need to see an inverted head and shoulders, and that's what turned it. I wonder whether we get something similar with this. It'd be a really high area for an inverted head and shoulders if that was the left shoulder and we're creating the head here. Then it would suggest that it's possible that that this does start coming back up, and then, you know, then it puts in the left shoulder there. I wouldn't want to see that personally. I do think it would be way too high. Much prefer to see the Nasdaq down here, and actually, instead of creating an inverted head and shoulders, create a head and shoulders with this being the left shoulder and this being the head, and somewhere around here we see a right shoulder. That would be the best, and then dropping down one more level, because that area there would be the sweet spot for picking up the Nasdaq, and that's at 96.30. And the reason for that is that when we look on the longer term timeframes, the weekly chart, look at what we get. The 96.30 is the previous breakout, but you can see structure here. So we talked about structure in the session that I did on the Master Trader a few weeks ago. This is the lower end of the structure on the weekly chart. So 1046 is the first area. Maybe 1047 would be the first area that I'd be interested in trying to pick up a Nasdaq long, but that might well be just to the right shoulder. And then we start to come down. I'd love to see it down here. Don't know if it'll get there. In many respects, I doubt it will, just because of how strong and hot the Nasdaq is. But these areas do tend to be tested properly. You could argue that it's already been tested here, and I would concur with that. But they do tend to be retested a little bit more significantly than that. So if it come down here, I'll be all over it. If it gets to this point, I will also be taking trades to the upside. So I'm just waiting on the Nasdaq for a bit more retracement. The Dow, I think fairly, you know, I've got similar thoughts. I think the Dow is probably heading higher as well. Where it comes to is a little bit tricky, but it looks like 2506 would be a decent area on the Dow. Not sure if the trend line is there or there. Yeah, bit of a difficult one. Let's just pull up a fib and see if that gives us any more clarity at all. Looks pretty good here, doesn't it? So around about the 2500 level on the Dow would be really good. Sorry, 25,000 level on the Dow would be really good. So that would mean the Dow coming down another 1,000. You know, maybe 1,500 down on the Dow. So possibly another 6 or 7% on the Dow to the downside. I'd be a lot more comfortable with. European equities in a similar kind of shape. You know, the JP Morgan story won't be affecting the DAX just yet, but it might do eventually. There is some support here, which actually looks like it's taken out. So maybe coming back up there, and we see another leg lower. That coming down. I mean, they look under a lot of pressure right now, mate. Which is one of the reasons I'm keeping Bitcoin. It's not really because I think that Bitcoin's going to go a whole bunch lower, or that it's going to pop to the upside from here. I've almost got no firm opinion at this stage. But what I'm doing is keeping myself out of trouble by not needing to be taking positions that are already on the move. So managing a trade in something like Bitcoin or anything else that you guys are in, actually just much less of a headache until we start flipping positions and going in the opposite direction. You know, same with sugar. You know, I want to keep hold of the ones that are going right now, as much as anything else, just to kind of not have to pick an area that this may now go again. You know, I don't particularly like the second leg in anything unless it's an add point. But as a first entry, I'm not that keen. I much prefer to try and pick it up on the first time of asking. On the longer term timeframes, that is, not on the short term timeframes, but on the longer term timeframes. So I'm waiting for the DAX to come down, mate. I'm waiting for the Nasdaq most specifically to come down. Amazingly, look at the Nikkei. Nikkei's actually survived fairly well so far. Hasn't really expressed anywhere near the same weakness that we've seen in the US equities. So why that is?
Yen's back to being the strongest on the board too today. So interesting.
It is interesting, isn't it? So what's happening with the dollar yen? Yeah, dollar's had a little bit of a pop up against the yen as well. How's the euro yen doing?
I don't see that lasting.
The pop to the upside. I agree with you. And, I wonder whether the pop to the upside and the dollar is going to last right across the board, Yeah,
well, we've spoken about that, haven't we? We were never bulls. It was just a rally trade, really.
Exactly. And that really does put us into things like gold and silver. And, gold as well, down at around about the 1730 levels, is going to start looking really attractive. And everything looks quite obvious now, doesn't it? As things start to move lower, but some incredible moves, really. And we were talking about what could change things. Look at the Aussie, got a little bit further to go as well. What could change things? Could somebody say something that would maybe flip the sentiment? And what I see is that everybody else is all things have been said. Is there anything else that, because Jerome Powell, I think, is testifying to some other committee today, but is he got anything more in the tank? I mean, everybody's grilled him.
What's he saved up?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that there's anything else he can say. I mean, you look at these things and think, right, well, maybe we want Jerome Powell out of the way before we take trades, but it would have been a completely the wrong decision this week. People started moving straight away on the Monday.
Yeah. Absolutely,
and
the pedal was
and they've just not stopped.
Out of the blocks. Yep, that's true.
Yeah, out of the blocks and gone. But anyway, mate, that's pretty much where I'm at right now. I'll tell you what, though. Yesterday, I was off, obviously, and I thought, well, I need to catch up on a load of data entry, which sounds very boring, and it is actually.
It is
really boring.
Yep.
It's boring. So I thought, right, I better do a load of data entry. So I did 5 hours yesterday, just pure data entry. Yeah, had to be done, right? So and you don't really get the opportunity unless you have some time. And now my daughter's at school, it's just a bit easier. So I did 5 hours work, and at the end of the day, I was really pleased with myself, and I was just about to turn everything off. And you know what I found, mate? Do you know what I discovered?
No, afraid not.
I discovered that I'd been entering the wrong data.
Oh no!
For 5 hours.
Oh my God, that's like writing your life story and suddenly Word crashes and it's all gone. That's horrible.
Or writing your life story and realizing that you're not writing your life story at all. It was somebody else's.
Well, I don't think I could do that, but yeah, I get your point.
Yeah. This is meant to be about me. I don't live in Tasmania. I've been spending too much time with him. So we got Fed Chair Powell today. What have we got tomorrow? Oh, so you want to look at some half-hour buyers, mate? I will pass it over to you in 1 second. But let's see. Tomorrow, absolutely nothing on the horizon. So maybe a little bit calmer. Now, I don't usually do this, but I wanted to see if there's anything next week. We are now. The close of the month is next week. Chinese PMIs are out next week. Aside from that, nothing. So really, we don't have too long, and then we hit October. We don't have too long before more really important fresh data points come in. In actual fact, it's only a week away before we get some fresh important data points. So yeah, I did a load of data points, and basically, fortunately, in some respects, this morning I got woken up at 4 o'clock. And I was lying there, but at 4:30, I was thinking, I can't go back to sleep. I may as well go and start that data thing again. So yeah, so this morning between 4:30 and just before we came on air, I've been redoing the whole thing. I've caught up though. So
well, you can start on mine anytime you like. The problem is you're going to have to go back to January the 2nd.
January the 2nd.
Yeah, well, I always have a New Year's resolution. I'm going to keep all the data and do my journal. And it lasts 24 hours. That's it.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, mate. So, side note, we'll get back to what Larry Williams said on the Nikkei. What did he say on the Nikkei? Shukri, tell us about that. And thanks for the 9600 level. Thank you, buddy. So we've got about another 800, 900 to go on Bitcoin before I'm too worried about taking profit there. So tell me what he said about the Nikkei, and Jeff, what is your bias on the pound pairs, especially the pound dollar, because obviously you're in that trade. So Sino wouldn't mind a little update.
Well, not anymore. That's come and gone.
Huh?
That's come and gone. TP1 out.
TP1 out.
Yep. That's over. That trade's gone.
That was the one this morning, though.
The breakout trade. Is that
the breakout trade? Yeah, but we're still in the trade from Monday, right?
Oh, okay. The long one, yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, the short trade, which is in a long-term trade. Yes. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll tackle that when you're done, mate.
Let's tackle it. Let's tackle it right now.
I'm Angel, and I can't play your song because we're on YouTube, but I've got a song for you, Angel, and it's very complimentary, I've got to say. But I can't see the chat. Can you see the Skype chat? The Zoom chat?
The Zoom chat. So about half an hour ago, Angel said, "I can't see the Zoom chat," and I replied, "I can't see it either."
There you go. So Angel's on Telegram communicating.
Oh, she's on Telegram. Hey, Angel, don't worry about posting what the guys say in YouTube today. We can deal with it. No big deal.
Yeah, YouTube's easy. The rest is
YouTube's easy. We'll deal with
that. Especially that Instagram where you only have pictures.
No big deal. But we need to figure out how Angel's going to enjoy her song that you're going to play her.
Well, she'll have to visit us in the US session, I suppose.
Oh yeah, you have to do that. Yeah, there's no chat. There is actually no chat. Did you?
No, I didn't do anything. It wasn't me. Not guilty.
Okay. All right. No problem.
Perhaps I should answer some of these questions.
Listen later. All right. Sounds good. Yeah. Listen later. Jeff's got a song. Leave it as a surprise, Jeff. And just for the record, it better be 1950s.
Well, no, it'll have to be the play out. So, Angel, you have to be awake. You have to be awake late.
All right, this is the play out. All right.
She's going to have to watch the whole show.
Yeah. Just to listen to this song, and then it'll be played, and I hated that song.
Oh, not that thing.
That gave me nightmare.
I've heard that 100 times. Everybody plays that for me.
I've never liked it.
Okay, the pound. Look, can you ask me a question that's even remotely easy, please? So I know this is one of the toughest questions that's on the board, I reckon. But if I'm completely honest, I've got to say, looking at this chart, that I can see definitely a second leg of this sell-off against the dollar, but I don't know how far, and that's the hard bit. And I kind of go to that level there, which is around about the 125 mark. So another couple hundred pips, yes. And this has always been, and we just spoke about this really. Let's go with that level actually. 126, so not that far to go, in my opinion. And this is based not so much on the pound, but on the dollar, because I think the dollar rallying is limited. I really do. And yes, I take on board what Ash just said before about the pound. It's in horrible, horrible trouble. But so is the dollar. You know, if you go back and have a look at what the dollar's done over the past 6 months, you'll see that it's far, far worse than what the pound has done. Far, far worse. So on a relative basis, I've got to say, yes, short term, I've got to be a bear. I've got to be a pound dollar bear. But it doesn't last that long, I don't think. It'll depend, of course, entirely on what the dollar does. And so will so many things, as Ash mentioned at the start of the show. So many things depend on what the dollar does. And I
suppose Brexit, mate, as well, isn't it? You know, the pound is going to be affected by Brexit.
Yep.
And unfortunately, we got. Actually, you know what? We haven't got that long now, have we? If you're saying October the 15th, we've got what, 3 weeks?
Yep, that's all. Well,
3 weeks.
Yeah, 3 and a bit.
Oh, do you know what? Actually, on top of that, there's a whole bunch of European oh, trying to give them their proper term, but I can't. So let's just say European Union politicians that have got COVID-19 and they're all self-isolating.
Oh my God.
So what's that going to do for the negotiations? You know, they're not going to be able to see each other face to face, which is, I think they need to in many respects. If they're going to, properly thrash out a deal, they need to get some sort of rapport going. It's going to be on Zoom and Skype and everything else. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of them just all self-isolating right now because they've all got COVID. And I found out as well why they said that they're going to shut the pubs at 10. You hear about this, Jeff?
No, mate.
Oh, you haven't heard about this. So in the UK and France, where the new rule is that we're not having a full lockdown, but the pubs have to now shut at 10 o'clock. And everybody's like, does COVID only come out at 10 o'clock?
It only comes out.
Yeah. So what's the deal with just shutting the pubs at 10? They can
So
stay
the pubs
open.
have been open all this while, have they?
Yeah. Pubs have been open all this while, and now they've from Thursday they've got to shut at 10 p.m.
Ours were closed for the longest time, the pubs.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
Goodness me. You must have been climbing the walls, mate.
No, the bottle shops were still open. We're okay.
Well, yeah. Do you know what this is? This is the argument for the 10 o'clock shut. Is that because, and I quite like this. I quite like the rationale. Is because after 10 o'clock, people get too drunk and they forget about social distancing. So,
that's right.
Yeah, if they do it till 10, then people will still be just tipsy, so they'll continue to social distance at that time.
You can imagine that, can't you?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Well, anyway, you've got to draw a line in the sand somewhere, I suppose. But
I guess so.
Whatever. So look, I'm going to pass on this, Sino. Really am, because I think it's hard. I think it's really, really difficult to predict what the pound is going to do solo and then against the dollar. I don't think it's that hard against the dollar, but it depends on what the dollar does and entirely on what the dollar does, in my humble opinion. Against everything else, I'll go to here. I'll go to the Kiwi, right? And for the longest time, I've been waiting for pound Kiwi to rally. And we're now back inside this little range. Well, little range has been here since August of 2016. That's when it began. So it's not a little range at all. But it's finding it very, very difficult to break below the bottom of that range, which of course is a trend line as well. And we've now pulled back off it again. And technically, I want to see a pullback. Well, I'd like to see this candle close above here and then pull back to retest the 194 level and then give me a higher low. It's at that point I'd like to get back into this trade that we were in since down here, right? So technically I've got to say I'm willing, ready and able, but is my heart in it because of the fundamental situation? And it's really, really difficult to say. The Kiwi's been as weak as lolly water over the last week or so, and we all knew that was coming because we were all told it was coming. You only had to have your ears open and your eyes open to know that the Kiwi was going to crash, in particular against the dollar, and now against the pound and every other thing that moves, frankly. I want to say to you, I'm a bull the pound. That's what I want to say, but it's really, really difficult for me to say that, I've got to say. So it's a balancing act for me. If I see a technical setup that suggests that the pound can go long against anything, then I'll take it. But it will be at tiny risk. I certainly won't be putting a lot of money on it because, like I've been with the dollar for the last few months, I just don't trust it. And it's not because it's doing anything wrong. There's just so much working against it as we've been through. Yet, that said, it is also at a bargain basement price. So, I just think it's really tough. Really, really, really tough. If you have a look at this chart, technically we just keep bouncing off this level. But since 2007, you've got to say that this has been in the worst possible trouble you can even imagine. And now it's banged its head against that level again and headed down. Now there's an idea. Why don't we just range trade it? Why didn't I think of that? So wait till it hits the bottom and just trade the ranges, because that's probably where we're at. But it's a guess. Sorry, I'm taking a long time to answer that question. And the bias is, I've got to say, based on technicals if I see them. So I'm neutral.
Do you know what, mate? I think that's a really good point there that you just made, because we are likely to hit some ranges fairly soon, because that's what the market does, isn't it? I'm doing a session actually, but that should be one of our sessions. Today we're going to cover scaling in. In the Thursday session, and maybe in a few weeks' time we should do a little bit on trading psychology, and one of the aspects of trading psychology is about ranges, which I'll touch on more when we do it. But one of the questions that I think is interesting is that, when do you consider a range to have started? What indicates a range has started
for me?
Yeah,
2 equal highs and 2 equal lows.
Okay, so as soon as you've got that, you're done. So really, as far as you've got with the pound, the 5th of December, is it the 5th of December? Oh no, sorry, the 1st of December and the first, and then sometime in August.
Yeah, I've got. I can put that in for you if you want. So, and these don't have to be on a horizontal plane, of course. They can be in any way, shape, or form. So I can use the opens and closes here and the tail. If that works for me, then that's a match.
Yeah.
And same up here. So I've already got that range defined. And it
okay, so yeah, you see it there. So that's a pretty tight range there. So what about the previous low, which was equal to those?
Over here, yep. You mean there?
Yes, I do mean there. Now, because of those, and there's a high that breaks above the current highs that we can see. How do you treat that high?
Well, what was the reason? Why did it go there? Was there a fundamental reason that it went there? So you'd probably have to go back to December of 2017, turning into that. Rings a bell as the fiscal cliff that we were going over.
Okay, mate. Sorry, I didn't realize you're on the monthly.
In the US dollar.
So if this was a short, so the range that you'd want to see would be on this long term time frame.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Any time frame's fine. So I don't care if I trade on a monthly chart or a weekly chart or a daily chart or an hourly chart or a 4 hour. I don't care. If the setup's there, then fine. Happy days. I've got one going at the moment on what is it? Weekly chart. Euro Swissy. It's not on this it's not on this one. Why not? Should be. But actually, I placed this morning. I think it was on a. See, that's a trade for me. Above that bar there. And I'm on a weekly chart. I don't care where it is. If it bobs up, then I'm on it. I actually placed this on a 4 hourly chart this morning, I think. Yes, above that bar there. Now, as I said at the time, super dangerous for me. But once again, if you look at the range that we're in, let me put that on the chart. Couple of equal highs.
Yep.
Take your pick down here for equal lows. There's 100,000 million of them. But there's your range straight away. And we've come off the bottom of the range and we've put in a higher low. I don't particularly like the higher low because the bar's not fantastic, but it's there and there's no question it's there. So this, to my mind, is headed to the top of the range. And I've got a setup that I like. on a slingshot candle pattern that says to me, we're going long here. Now, the really, really, really dangerous part about this is that we're trading at the monthly pivot. So my entry's up here above the monthly pivot, and I'm going to take profit pretty quickly just in case it does reverse. But I see this completely and absolutely totally as an opportunity to take a big chunk out of the market on, I think I've got a 30 pip risk or something. So a 30 pip risk down here, if it actually breaks out of this trend, and I'm safe in the market by the time it does that, right? If it does that, my 30 pip risk could possibly get me 600. That to me makes sense.
Yeah.
And I know someone's going to say this looks like a cup and a handle. Please, someone say that.
It looks like a cup and a handle to me.
Thanks, mate. and I've never traded one in my entire life, and I didn't see it until now. Is that, although
it doesn't look like a cup and a handle to me, to be honest.
Good. It's good either way.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't even know what it means, frankly. Actually, I got asked that question on Euro Pound. You might want to comment on this because you are an aficionado of such chart patterns. So let me go there. And I think it was on a weekly chart. But I saw it on a daily chart, exactly what they were talking about. Yeah, no, that looks ugly. I don't think it looks real flash there either. Would you call that a cup and a handle?
No, do you know, mate? I wouldn't, and for one simple reason, it's in completely the wrong place.
Well, that's what I said. I said it's complete. It's a bottom of a range thing, isn't it, or bottom of a?
Do you know where you could stretch the friendship and say that one at the low there on the 1st of November for 2014 through to May 2016. You could say that's a cup and handle pattern.
Here.
Yeah, down there. You see how it comes down into the cup, and then there's a handle there. I don't know if you can draw on the screen there.
Hang on, I'll just get back there. I can draw on the screen. Let me just go back in time. So we're in here, right?
Yeah.
And you've got this.
Yeah, from the high.
The high? This high?
Further up than that. So actually the rundown. Yeah, from the rundown, right the way down. Taking that whole low area.
Oh,
whole
okay.
Area. Yeah.
The whole lot and going up here.
Yeah.
And that's your handle.
And there's your handle. Yeah.
So how do you trade that?
Well, you'd have to trade the handle. You couldn't trade the cup. I mean, it's a very, very ugly one. It's not a nice cup and handle by any stretch, but
let's say you're getting in here.
No. Well, yeah, you can get in there.
You come off the bottom.
I would want to come off the bottom. Yeah. Just like I do on the the right shoulder area, because then you've got something to aim for to start with. You could trade the breakout or the return to the breakout point potentially, but it's a horrible chart, mate. I mean, it's not clean, is it? And just like what we've seen with the dollar. And I suppose subsequently the euro dollar, really, really nice head and shoulders, really nice clean pattern. So with this cup and handle, I think you'd be pretty spooked by that low end of that as well. So I think it would be a very, very difficult trade. And even then, I don't know whether the but yeah, in fact, yeah, you could say that's a cup and handle because it's a pretty decent neckline there. But this one, nah, no way.
I got it wrong. It was Euro CAD, and Sinos just pointed it out to me.
Right.
Because I'm a bear, Euro CAD, we were having this conversation, and he pointed out on the weekly chart. So my Batman ears are his cup, or the top of the rim of his cup.
Yeah.
And my comment was, I thought it was a reversal pattern from the bottom, and therefore completely out of context.
Yeah, it is. It is. And it's one of those things that, you will see head and shoulders, inverted head and shoulders through charts, in different areas, but they are meant to be top and bottom patterns. That's what that's the way they should be traded. If you see one, really what you got is a higher low on the right hand side, and that's the same thing here. Um, so it may well react the same, but it's not really the way that they're meant to be seen. They're meant to be viewed, and the way they're meant to be traded. So I don't like calling cup and handles when you're a top. And that's the thing, it's not even that you're in a midpoint. Really, this is a top end of a market, so to call it a cup and handle at the top would be I think a little bit difficult, because otherwise you can see it all over the place. You could say that EuroCAD from May the 5th 2010 right the way through to 2020 is that no, sorry, May the 17th 2020, sorry. What's this, a daily chart? Yeah, May the 5th 2020 right the way through to the end of July 2020 is a cup, and now we're forming a handle.
Oh, in here.
Yeah, you could, and I just think that you could get quite tied up with all that stuff. You could sort of say you see patterns all over the place, but if you know that you're meant to be seeing it at the bottom, what you're looking for is a test of a low, and coming up again, and then on the pullback, it just giving you a smooth kind of rounding behavior as price starts to move to the upside.
Higher low.
Basically, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So at the end of the day, this chart's we're having a good little battle on this chart, actually, conversational wise, because there are bulls around, and I'm a bear, of course, and I'm still a bear, and I can't get that out of my head. And I actually dream about this at night, right? Batman masks. Just kidding. But I can't see this being a long in the bigger picture. What I can see is potential for a short-term rally up here. I've got no problem with that at all. And perhaps that's what everyone else is seeing. But I don't even see that just yet. I see the top of this range, and I'll be looking once again to enter short. If it goes through the top, then okay, I'll have a look at that. But at this point in time, no, I can't. I can't wear a serious long. I could have gone long here, trading into the monthly pivot, which I'm doing. I'm absolutely doing it on Euro Swissy, as I pointed out before. On the 4 hours, if you want to follow that one, by the way, I'm entering long above here, and I've got my stop loss down here somewhere, I think. Can't quite remember exactly where. No, there, I think. But yeah, super dangerous trading into the monthly pivot. But it has been broken, rebroken, retested, rebroken, and now we're retesting it again. So it doesn't hold that fear that that it otherwise would had it not been tested. Looking around, I'm ready to go short again. Euro dollar having been taken out of it again in profit, but again I've been taken out of it. I can't get this right. I just can't get the timing right. Well, I get the entries okay, but I just can't get the follow through. So I've got now an entry at 10. Is this today? 105.15. If so, what am I trading it on? It's a good question. No. Is this an old trade? I don't see the trade on the chart, so maybe it is. Yeah, I think it is. But I am ready to go short again. I just need the right signal, and the right signal comes like this for me. Nothing new. You've seen it all before. Breakout, get above the trade line, maybe hit this level. Maybe that level. Let's go with that level. 105.63-ish, DR1 area. Back underneath the daily pivot. retest the confluence area short. That may take some time to set up, of course, maybe tomorrow thing. I can't even bear to look at Aussie Swissy because I got out of it. Swissy Yen, how are we doing? It's struggling to get lower as well, but we're still going okay on that. That was our best trade last week, and we called it as such. And as it turns out, it is the one that has remained. I have kept that one going. I'm trying to find something to get you guys interested in, but at the moment, it's just eluding me, I've got to say. The trade that we entered, which long above here, is now back in that TP1 zone. Be interesting to see what happens from here on the pound. Maybe our trailing stop might have hurt us today. We'll see. We're out of it anyway. That's all I can say. So I've really got no trades at the moment, mate, that I want to enter, but definitely looking at dollar yen to get back into, euro pound to get back into, euro CAD to get back into, and pound Kiwi question mark on that. I need to see a decent pullback and a decent setup, but let's see how we go.
Yeah, I'm with you. To be honest, mate. I mean, I'm just doing some work in the background, and I see really what you're seeing, where we've probably. I wonder whether the current move might be done for a little while as we just digest a few things that are out there. From what I gather, Jerome Powell did say that there may well be no more that the Fed are going to do for a while. They're really reliant now on. They really want government to step in and take the handle. Take the baton now and start running with it, because I don't think that they want to do anything else. Certainly from Jerome Powell's perspective, I think the other central bankers may say something different, and we do have some others today that might kind of pour water on what Jerome Powell's saying, but I wonder whether we might just start to hit just a bit of consolidation in some of these areas. Things slow down just a little bit, which really puts me into more of a bullish mode than bearish mode. If I had to take a trade this morning, then I would be going long Nasdaq, not long FTSE, particularly with a pound weakness, and maybe long DAX as well. But they're very short-term trades, and I think that's all there is on offer. Right now are just some short-term opportunities. So I'm completely with you. I think maybe we get something in the US session. What do we got?
What happened to the Swiss National Bank announcement that has passed half an hour ago? Not a lot by the look of the charts. Naturally, they haven't gone further into negative policy rates, but
no, same. Yeah, they are the same. They've kept it on hold. German IFO business climate just came out negative as well. Yeah, in fact, he's out again later on. He's at 3:00. Fed Chair Powell. But we got
we got Bailey and Mnuchin at the same time.
Bailey, Fed, Powell and Mnuchin all at the same time. Maybe we get to watch some of that in the show, but I doubt it. I think it's going to be a case that if there are any fireworks from here on in, then it will be after that event. And if there is, we want to watch the charts after the event, because if they do say anything significant, then maybe we do start to see a pick up to the upside. So it'd be worth listening to that speech to see if they say anything contrary to what they've already testified.
Want to be better than the last prick? Who was he? That was boring as batshit.
That was Powell.
No, we didn't get to see Powell. We got to see three others in the show. I mean, on Monday.
On Monday.
We would have waited an hour for Powell, wouldn't we? Because everyone else wanted to have a chat.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, yeah, they did. Yeah, and it might be the same today. I don't know.
Oh my God.
It was boring as batshit. You're right.
I better bring a flask up, eh?
Yeah, bring it up, bring it up. But I don't think there's anything doing anyway. I think it's a quiet day, quiet out there. As I say, if I was going to do anything, I'd be long indices for a very short period on pullbacks. But after and that's just a case of if everybody's really gagging to trade, then my reasoning for saying, if there's anything out there, it'd be long equities, and let's pick the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq has already kind of shown that it can hold this zone down here. So if we flip to the longer term timeframes, we've seen this double bottom here. Now, does it hold? Nobody really knows whether that double bottom holds, but if you are going to be taking any trades, then you're going to be trying to get in somewhere in the area that we're in, and with stops at the lows, with an expectation it holds, and then you just have to do the calculations. Is it worth it? We're probably looking at maybe 75 to the downside. Well, there's a 2-to-1 there potentially. There is a 2-to-1 trade there potentially. So
there's a slingshot trade there too.
There's a slingshot trade here, is there? Well, to the upside.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I mean that would be my bias. You know, if I was going to have to trade today, my bias would be looking for the long in the Nasdaq. But I'm just not really prepared for that. I'm not really prepared for it coming down further, because ultimately I want it down further, but I just don't anticipate that happening. I think it's much more likely into the news announcement, that we start to bounce around here, and then maybe get to that daily pivot again, which would be the entry. But yeah, there's nothing that I would want to do personally, and I wouldn't call this trade. But if anybody's interested in that and they feel like they need to trade, that's the best of the bunch for me.
Hooker, you're right. Pound Kiwi is definitely a patience game. And dear old Bill Bailey. What is his name? Bill Bailey.
Bailey.
What's his first name?
Governor.
Gov.
Yeah.
On you, Gov.
I don't know. Andrew, I think it might be Andrew Bailey. Is it?
No, we'll call him Bill.
Bill Bailey. Yeah, Bill Bailey. He's going to come and sing us a song and tell us what the.
Yeah, that's his new name.
Yeah.
All right. I think we'll be talking about everything other than trading if we stay here too much longer. So.
But you're right.
I'm done.
Oh, do you know what, mate? I think we might have to get on camera next week. It's going to have to be our new push.
Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
Should I perm my hair?
That would be amazing. That would be amazing.
I did once, you know.
You permed your hair?
Yeah.
Did you?
Oh, I was young, and
yeah, you have to send me a picture of that.
Actually, I think I have got one somewhere.
You got to send it. You got to send it.
And I didn't know what perm. I thought my hair is very straight, right? So I wanted to put a little Elvis wave in it.
Yeah.
And I thought that's what a perm was. It was like permanent. You put a permanent wave in there.
Oh, yeah.
And I just wanted one of those Elvis ones. And she said, "You sure?" I said, "Yeah, I want a perm." And she put she put all this stuff on my hair and this cape around me, and she started rolling them up my hair in all these rollers. What the bloody hell is going on here? So anyway, I'm in the chair for about an hour and a half, and she took the thing off. And oh my God, I nearly died when I looked in the mirror. It was unbelievable. I looked like Shirley Temple, seriously.
Isn't it very Aussie? Isn't it a very Aussie thing to do? That?
Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, perms and mullets.
Oh, mullets, definitely. I had a mullet. I definitely had a mullet. No
so
question
a perm and a mullet.
No, I had a mullet, and I had a perm and a mullet at the same time. Wow, it's a pretty picture, got to tell you.
Yeah, so I can imagine, mate. I've got an image that you of you potentially.
Once seen, it can never go away, mate.
Didn't look like that, did you?
Not too far from there.
I mean, it isn't a pub. That's why I thought maybe.
Yeah, I'm only lacking a couple of things. But,
there we go. So there's Jeff.
We better get out of here. You'll get me into trouble.
Yeah. Shorting Nasdaq. No, long. I would have thought, Alan. Long on the Nasdaq. I think if anything, not. I wouldn't short here. I'm not going long. But if you are thinking of trading, then my personal bias would be a long. With the stops at lows. Jeff, before we wrap up, can you share your opinion of CAD Swiss, mate?
CAD Swiss. Yes, I can. Let me go there. Did I say Euro Swissy I'm long on? Oh, yes. Okay. Share screen. CAD Swiss. There we go. Oh, look at this. I'm liking this. This looks like a dromedary. No, hang on. Bactrian. I get this wrong every time, don't I?
2 humps.
Yep, 2 humps. There's one. There's another. The first one didn't work, as you can see. But this one has got a lot of promise. The reason it's got a lot of promise, actually, I'll just get rid of that horizontal level. I'm sure you can all see it. The reason it's got a lot of promise is if this were to come back, I've just got to adjust that trade line now because it's invalid, to there, and technically so is this one invalid. But if you have a look at what's happening here, we've broken back above not only the trade line here, but the monthly pivot, which refuses to go short. So this looks like a classic fake out to me of the monthly pivot. Then we've come back to a resistance level. So range top. So think range here. That's range. And we've now put in a higher low based on the bottom of the range after coming back into it. So what we're looking for here is probably a break of the daily pivot, retest of the trade line, or the weekly pivot, or the monthly pivot, or all the above, and you've got yourself an entry long there at that point. It'll depend on what this candle does, but you need it. You need something to close up here, then pull back to those areas there. And I think there's a long on here. This will look good. This will look good even if you broke that level and then came back and retested it. I think that'd be perfectly fine as well. But this to me looks like it is in definite threat of going long. I don't know how far it can go. That's the question. And there's probably the answer. Not too far. You'd want to be getting something in the bank at that point. That level. There's your entry here somewhere. It's not immediately jumping off the screen at me, I've got to say. The confluence area, but the trend line most certainly is. Let's say, let's go with 69.50. I wouldn't want to be trading beyond 69.50 without profit in the bank, that's for sure. So that is my opinion. Double cross 2 days ago on the daily. I'm on the daily. Yeah, not quite sweet. What we like to see, and I totally get what you're saying, what we do like to see is a double decisive bar. So something like that, something like that. That one's good. Up, back, gone. Something like that is fine. So 2 decisive bars. And you're looking to enter there. Of course, you wouldn't have held on that long to trade it, but that's the kind of thing we're looking for. Decisive, double cross. And then enter there and you get the bickies. So what we haven't got here is 2 decisive bars. We probably have got them on a 4-hour chart. Looking there now. And if that's what you're seeing, yes, I can totally see that there would be an entry short there as well. The problem I would have with that is that we're still looking for longs. Let me put that range in. Two equal highs, 2 equal lows, that'll do. There's your range. Okay. So let's even get rid of the trend line and concentrate back on that. One thing that probably would get you a little bit of a bias to the downside would be if this current candle kept going and hit these highs. I can also see 3 Lindians here. So if I bring that down, you've got 3 fake outs in a row. These are equal highs. So I can probably change that a bit. It's getting a little less obvious to me now, I must say. Yeah. Okay, I can see something completely different now. And that would be a lower high gets me short. I don't think I'd want to trade the double cross. The candle's fairly big. The risk is fairly, the reward is fairly meager if it's only going to go to here and go back into the range. Okay, I've changed my mind, guys. Sorry. I'm looking now at probably well, it all depends on what happens with this candle in the next, but a lower high here is going to get me back to the bottom of the range. There you go. I don't want to play the double cross though, but I'm happy to play it short if that were the case. To play it long, as I said before, if that breaks and we come back, then yes, I think there's a long on, but at this point in time, answer no. That is my opinion at the moment, Swee. Sorry, it got a little complex. Did it not? It did, yes. All right, I'm done. Now I am definitely done.
All right, great stuff, mate. All right, thanks very much, guys. Thanks, as always, to Angel as well for bearing with us. And Jeff will be playing your song later on if you get to listen to it.
And it's not Just Call Me Angel of the Morning. It's not that one.
Not that one. It's not Angels by Robbie Williams, hopefully.
Oh, shit. No. No, it's
not. Okay, so we'll find that out later. And for the rest of you, have a great weekend, guys. Thanks so much for your company this week. We'll be back obviously on Monday. In fact, we'll be back at 1:30 this afternoon, UK time. So we'll be back in a few hours for another little free session. And then we'll be heading to the US Open for the little private room as well. But for the rest of you that
and what are we doing there? We're doing scale-ins, aren't we, tonight?
Yes, we're going to do a little presentation on how to scale into into trades. Yeah.
Awesome. And also, what did Shukri want us to do something as well? What was that?
Oh, I don't know. Is that this week?
I'm sure he'll tell us later anyway.
I can't find scaling.
Yep. Okay. All good.
Yeah. Okay. Great stuff. All right. Well, we'll be doing that later in the US show. But for the rest of you, have a great weekend, and we will see you next week as always on Monday at 5 to 8.
That's a date. Don't be late. Or is it don't be late? That's a date. I can't remember.
It's been too long, mate.
It's been a long week. That's right. Have a good one, guys. See you later.